All right, everybody. Thanks for joining in and listening to our series Accountant Showcase. We are excited to have Michael Barton coming to us out of Indianapolis.
Yes, sir. Indianapolis, Indiana, the great Hoosier state.
Awesome, awesome. Well, appreciate you taking time out and joining us today. And so tell us about Michael.
Yeah, first and foremost, thanks for having me on. My name is Michael Barton. I'm a partner here at a firm called Petro Kane Lane Hughes. I'm the director of assurance services. I joined the firm in June 2014, so it's been a great 7+ years. My area of expertise is in kind of the nonprofit arena, and I also serve other privately held entities as well. But my main bread and butter is on the attest side of things, the audits, the reviews, compilations, and so far I've really enjoyed doing it.
Nice. Now, how did we get to this point? Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So when I was in college, I actually started out as a marketing major, and
Really?
took as part of our business school, you had to take at least introduction to accounting, like I'm sure most do. And my accounting professor at the time, he said, Michael, I think you should pursue accounting as a degree. I thought about it. I graduated high school, right? In the great depression, 2008 2009, or Great Recession, excuse me. And the thought of a stable job was really attractive. I also have an uncle who's a CPA and a CFO of the university I went to. My older brother's a CPA and he's a partner at a CPA firm. So I could see two lifestyles I liked. I knew they'd always have a job, and it's something that really attracted me. And I'll tell you, I actually went to work for my auditing professor right out of school. He was a sole practitioner, and he had just merged with three other tax heavy people, and they wanted to grow an audit practice. So I actually went to go work for him out of college, and he was my greatest mentor until the day he passed away, sadly, last year. But I'd say he's the one who really got me to where I am now.
No, that's an awesome story. So you went in for marketing, but there was some family that was involved with CPA, but to work
Yeah.
as a
And, and,
professor.
and I'm not a quitter, Chris. So I still kept on that marketing degree and then just added accounting too. So,
Yeah.
I'm at a small firm now. We're 12 people on a busy day. And, I think we all use that marketing tool, more than we all know. Even in a big firm, and you're always selling yourself. So I thought they kind of, worked well with each other. So that's why I kept that one too. But I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, no, no. It's awesome to know because obviously, I mean, you really looked up to this professor because working for them right after school, and then going on and with this firm. And so I want you to kind of share some thoughts. I mean, with everything that happened with the pandemic, and where your firm was right a few years ago, and to where it is now, and where do you see it in the next few years? I mean, have you guys adopted the cloud technology in general? So can you share your experience in regards to that?
Yeah, on my side of the practice, right, which is more like the financial statement stuff, thankfully, years ago we adopted just being, paperless, using electronic work papers and all that. Most of our clients thankfully had gone to some accounting, cloud solution. So we were at least ready, for something like this to happen. My wife's a nurse, so when that pandemic happened, I didn't know anything, so I actually ended up working at home, at least the first 3 months before I went back into the office, just because, I didn't want to be the guy to bring COVID to the office or something like that. Thankfully, we never had an infection in the household, but,
Yeah.
I'd say because of, our adoption, years ago of, just being paperless, and, we're not perfect on the tax side of things. We're getting there. It's really hard with, a bunch of client, work papers, but we're getting there. I just think you have to be anymore. And, something I think all firms are going to have to adopt as a remote worker. We're kind of thinking through some succession planning now, and, a remote worker, or at least working remote 3 out of 5 days is certainly something we're going to have to do. That means every other firm's going to have to do as well. So I just think the cloud way of doing things, I think if you were slow to adopt, I think the pandemic has made you think about that a lot harder. And, I just think that's the way everyone's going to go here sooner or later. I mean, I know a CPA firm here in Indiana, they don't have a physical office, but they still have 20 plus employees. So I'm sure they're utilizing, cloud-based, servers and all that stuff. So,
Yep.
I think that's the direction the profession's going. And I think COVID certainly, really accelerated that if you weren't already thinking about it. So, I think that's here to stay.
Yeah, no, spot on. I've been working remotely for 4 years. I mean, it's not easy to get it off the ground. I'll admit that it didn't take a few weeks; it takes months, right? It's a different way of working. But once you are disciplined and managing your time well, I mean, the schedule is awesome, right? Having the flexibility, and there'll be times, having that what you mentioned, that type of hybrid setup, I think is important too. So everyone that loves coming into the office has the opportunity working remotely. And especially nowadays with a lot of the staffing shortages occurring. I mean, shortages are happening across all the industries, but staffing is the number one challenge within the accounting industry. So what I've seen is that it's all about the firm now making themselves look more attractive. Kind of why should I, the candidate, work for your firm? How have you guys, since you're already working virtually, have you guys been able to, kind of navigate through these challenges? And what are you guys doing now? Are you doing any type of local recruiting, or have you changed the way, like strategically, and how to bring in staff?
Yeah, we're a little unique, so we're, you said we're in Indianapolis, so we're a local firm. So thankfully, all of our employees live, I'd say, within 20 miles of the office. But we've hired a few people here of late. We've got 2 people on the horizon we're pursuing. But back to your point about not necessarily offshore recruiting, but hiring a remote worker, could be in a different state. That has been within our strategy of recruiting. And that's just something even 5 years ago we would not have even considered. I mean, it would have been a no, before that conversation even started. And I happen to be the chair of the licensing board here in Indiana, so I talk with a lot of firms here in the state, and everyone's main challenge is that human capital element. So you're seeing, I think, firms all over the place, looking for that remote worker, even just to get work done. So people at higher levels can do that higher level review. It's funny. I heard a bigger firm here in Indianapolis, let go a bunch of tax clients here recently, just because I don't think they have the capacity to serve them. And like everyone else, they're trying to focus more on, corporate returns and, business clients, which is, the ideal situation anyway. But I think the staffing shortage, you're going to see firms start to not offer, the individual tax service like they used to, because I think that's really causing a lot of bottlenecking issues here in our profession.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. And there's ways to mitigate through it, and you guys have adopted to it. You guys have transitioned swiftly right into it. And with the remote aspect, the idea of offshore staffing too has gained a lot of traction, and it's gotten a lot of attention nowadays than they had several years ago.
Yeah.
And the concept's been around for 30 years, but it's gained a lot of traction. Have you had any experiences with offshoring, and kind of where do you see?
I personally, as a firm, and myself, we have never gone down that route of doing it, but those conversations have happened here of late. And I've talked with other bigger firms here in Indianapolis, Big Four, the regional firms.
Yep.
I know for a fact they're utilizing these offshore, workers, and it makes so much sense to do so. I think if we don't do that here in the next 5 years, I might be a little surprised, just because I think you look at the cost benefit of it. I think as long as your clients don't have an issue with it, I think it's a great idea personally. And I think that's something we will kind of explore down the line here. But, just being completely honest with your viewers, no, that's something we have not done yet, but I think that is on the horizon.
Yeah. Yeah, you're spot on with that. Excuse me, that mindset too, because several years ago, never tried it was like 70% within the accounting profession. Now that has dropped down to about 40%,
Yeah.
and there's a new category that's taken over about 20%, which is thinking about to explore it. So it's on everyone's mind to try to navigate through these challenges. And so, yeah, is it for everybody? No, maybe, may not be, but it's keeping an open mind, understanding a remote worker, and
Yeah.
you got to
I think the
build the
biggest,
trust. Yeah,
I think for small firms, Chris, the biggest, concern, or maybe, maybe it's not even a valid concern. I think it's just the safeguarding of client information. There's that inherent fear of, client information going overseas. And I get it. I have the same concern, but my thought is if, XYZ big four firms doing it, that's as confidential as information as there's going to be. So it's a trickle down thing like everything else. It starts at the top, works its way down to the smaller firms. I think that's going to be the same thing here.
exactly, exactly. So let's leave accounting, and I guess you kind of like sports, huh?
Yeah, I played college
Like super
basketball
fun.
here locally, small Catholic school called Marian University. I was telling somebody this morning, everything I do in life somehow always circles back to basketball. As you can see behind me, I'm a big Indiana Pacers fan. I'm a board that deals with the Old American Basketball Association, or I know you live in New York, so the Brooklyn Nets are part of that old league. So, that's one of my passions. But yeah, everything, Chris, seems to circle back to basketball. My wife played in college too, so we'll get out and have a nice family game of pig or horse out in the driveway. That, and here in Indiana, man, you got to play some hoops at least at some point. So
For sure. No, absolutely, for sure. I love playing basketball myself. Sports in general. I think sports is just teaches you a different way to approach life. Gives you that little competitive drive, and heck, it's fun finding out the right sport for you, right?
yeah.
And you definitely step away and take some time out for yourself. So
No, and being a part of a firm is a team game, and that's the beauty for me is sports kind of taught that naturally from a young age, and it's really no different even in your professional career unless you're working for yourself. Yeah, but if you're around people, I think sports is the best teacher there is. You can go to the best school there is, but I'm telling you, it's so valuable for you to at least have played some sports in your life, at a decently high level.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And so before we go, Michael, any final thoughts that you'd like to share before we leave?
No, I just, if anyone's watching this and they're undecided on the accounting profession, I think it's a great career. There's so many things you can do. And I'm telling you, the word the letter CPA after your name will open so many doors for you. So, if you're a college student watching this, please reach out to me. I'm happy to talk you into the profession. We have many people in our family who have done it, and they live a great life. So, please come join our profession. We need you to keep this thing going.
Sure. Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out today. Really appreciate it. For our viewers, we'll be back soon. Michael, thank you. Take care.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Take care.
We're done. Cool.
All right, man. Did you get some good
That's it.
stuff, you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Good.
Just
Nah,
blast
happy
it
to
out.
help.
And I'll send you the link when they're done creating. They're going to take this video and create some magic. I'll send you the link and you can use it too.
I don't think I said anything too obnoxious, so I think I'm okay
No.
to use whatever you want.
No, I'm laid back. I just keep it conversational.
Okay.
It was everything we needed.
Good.
Perfect.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Well, please reach out if you need something else. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank
All
you.
right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.